Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending today's County Planning Commission meeting. At this time, Annette, can we go around the room and, or I'm sorry, roll call.
Thank you. Director Wan? Mayor Brennan?
Here.
Joseph Nani?
Here.
Mayor Daley Jones?
Here.
Director Dever?
Here.
Mayor Gallo?
Here.
Mayor Orcutt?
Here.
Mayor Sellers?
Here.
Councilperson Simon?
Here.
Mayor Traore? You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. We're expecting Director Wong shortly. Any comments from the public? Hi, if you could state your name, please.
It's Rick Porter with Willow Grove Limited, 14300. Rick Porter, Willow Grove Limited, 14300 Ridge Road, North Royalton, Ohio. Willow Grove's been working diligently with planning staff for the Willow Grove development. We've been working with them since July at this point. There's a few more things that we'd like to resolve and had hoped that we had it done by today. They're not done, and we think in the next couple of weeks we'd be able to resolve any outstanding issues with staff, and would like to, at this time, see if we could be tabled to the January 11th meeting. If there's any questions, I have a development team here to answer anything for the members.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Porter.
Thank you.
Any other further public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the next item, approval of the minutes from the October 12th, 2023 meeting. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Is there any comments, questions, changes to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. If we could go on to resolution required. The
Yes.
resolution, Mary.
Thank you. Our first item for board action is resolution number 231214-A. Megan Cheney, senior planner here, is preliminary plan application for the 50-unit Willow Grove Residential Multifamily Townhouse RMFT subdivision. As you just heard, we've got now a request from the applicant for a tabling, so I would let either we can have Megan present, and there are people here if any questions come from the board members.
I would suggest that potentially we just table the
Yeah,
item
right,
until
right,
we have
right,
a
right.
full discussion on it.
Right.
So I'll make that motion to table the item.
Right, I second it.
Motion by the chair, seconded by Mayor Sellers. Any questions, comments? All those,
I would just say that on the table, when you got a request on the table, and you said you're gonna work with staff, at that point, you would come back and present final thoughts on it before we, so I'm for the
Yeah,
table.
I would just add, as long as we think that the things that are, as long as we think that these things are resolvable, that this is something that can be resolved through staff. In which case, even if we're not sure, if we think it could happen, then I think we go ahead and give them an opportunity to do so.
Chair, if I just could.
go ahead.
I know the request is for the tabling until the January 11th meeting. That is our tentative meeting. Our next regular scheduled meeting is February 8th. So given some change in board members and approvals needed by council, I'm not sure if we'll have that January 11th meeting. So if that's potentially, I guess, either the option for January 11th or February 8th, I would prefer February 8th, just given the board structure and approvals required.
Okay, I'm assuming the applicant will continue to work with Megan on getting things resolved.
Yes.
All right, I appreciate
thank you.
that. So on the motion to table, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to this item number 5, the Cuyahoga Green Print Viewer Tool Update. Mary, please.
That's a mouthful. This is, I'm going to go through all these slides, I'm sorry. This is an item that does not require board action, but I would like Dan Meany on our team to present. There's some other folks here that have been very instrumental in making this happen. You may have seen in the press release earlier this week, we did a joint press release with Cuyahoga County about this tool update, and so I just asked that Dan provide an update to you and know that going forward, we are a resource for communities to use it, and Dan and Liam are here and have been very, very much involved in this, so I'll turn it over to Dan.
All right. Do I get a clicker? Okay, so I meant to mention, wrong button,
Turned it off. Big green arrow. There we go.
okay. Forward. I did want to again mention our team that helped work on this project. Liam here is our new GIS specialist, well, new for a year, doing some great work, especially developing web-based applications and a lot of analysis work. So he's been doing a great job. Elaine Price, I think many of you know, is sort of our content expert. She's our green space coordinator, so she put together a lot of the written content associated with this tool. And Kevin Leeson, many of you know, is a great content editor, data guru of all kinds, and a variety of other things. Kevin's a planner. So our green print, we've really just done an update. We've had this green print for many years, which I think I'll get to, but it's really got two parts. We have a guidebook similar to other guidebooks we've done on special improvement districts, and we have a funding guidebook and some other topics. So this one's about green space and sustainability. So we have our green print guidebook on the one hand with a number of topics relating to the themes in our online mapping application. The guidebook itself has, again, topics that mirror what's in the mapping structure. Each of those topics, like water, you see the project pages there, would cover an overview of that topic, importance and value, recommendations, and further resources on each of those topics. I think the only new guidebook topic area are social characteristics, so we spent a good bit of time looking at socioeconomic indicators. We've got a number of equity indicators from US EPA, NOACA, and our county equity zones. Those really come more and more into play in grant applications and so on. So the intersection of those equity zones and the other indicators have become really important. So then the other side of things, again, is the application. We call it the Green Print Explorer. It was developed entirely by in-house, probably 98% by Liam. It replaced an old platform that had been developed with IT starting in 2015. They retired their platform, so we were kind of forced to do our own thing. Unfortunately, the tools have become more mature and easier for us to work from. The history goes back, I believe, to 2002, in which case it was a map on a poster. So good old days of paper. So a little bit more about the map itself. We've got a number of new and improved layers. We did a good bit more work on legislative districts, State House down to, I think, some city wards and everything in between. Community facilities, we've got a good bit on hospitals, rec centers, city halls, those points of reference for communities. A lot more on transportation. We've got an updated greenways plan that's, up to date, bikeway, planned and proposed routes. We brought in some crash data, which you'll see there in that example on the right. Helps us see problem areas in that area, in that realm. Some indicators about traffic stress relating to suitability for bikeways, and a good bit of public transit data. We had a closer look at vacant land. We got a direct tie into the fiscal office database on today's status. A little bit of focus on land banks as they are a key player. We've got good old land cover and tree canopy that's been a major part of several of our initiatives. Conservation easements, we've got a couple of great inventories of conservation easements throughout the county. Urban heat islands is a new thing for this. We had a little partnership with Cleveland State University that developed a really great indicator for that. Again, the socioeconomics and equity. So there's that, some new functionality. A big thing that I like is having mentioned all those layers, and I think there are 80 layers altogether. This themes view allows you to go in and click some theme and you'll get the related layers all turned on. And so if you return to the layer control, which we're not really showing you here, those would all be clicked on and you can add and subtract a few minor things. So that's a great sort of shortcut to help you get going. The Near Me tool allows you to identify, collect information about anything in a proximity to a spot or a trail route or a study area, demographics, land ownership, and a variety of other things. There's a feature to add your own data, so planners, those that have some ability in GIS can upload their own community's data in a few different formats. This elevation profile is kind of a nifty new tool. You can draw perhaps a trail route, proposed trail route, and it helps you see the elevation changes, and you might test a few different routes with that. So, quick overview of some of those tools. There's a lot of great help in here. There's some quickie, sort of context-sensitive help on each tool, along with a lengthy green print manual that you see on the right that explains each and every one of those 80 layers, sources, relevance, so on and so forth. So pretty easily searchable to find your way there. I should mention we're going to have a number of online training sessions to learn. Registration's available through the website you have noted there. I think it'll be on our front page. At least a link to the green print will be on our agency's front page. Again, I think if I get to the end, again, it's a great tool for planning staff, city staff, watershed groups, landowners, a variety of other parties. So we think it'll be a great thing. You might spread the word about training and get people going on the new version. And so I did want to mention also, coming soon, these are kind of going on at the same time. We've got a release of a new data book. We've had a series of these over the years. This is the first one that we're comparing the county as a whole to 10 other Midwest urban counties on a variety of indicators: socioeconomic, housing, workforce, environment, and so on. So something like 60 indicators there comparing, so I can show you an example, showing in the latest year, as well as trends over 10 years, how the Cuyahoga stacks up against some of our peer communities. So I just want to mention that. That's coming out early next week, so you might look for that. So that's all I had. We could give a demo if you're interested, but I didn't want to bog things down with that. Any questions? Yeah.
So would there be an application of this data to the project that we have on hold at Willow Grove? What would we see what green space would be impacted by the development from this?
Yes. So there are, in some respects, down to the parcel level, about the amount of tree canopy, acres of tree canopy on any given parcel, or up to a neighborhood level, so on and so forth, as well as just plain showing the patterns of land cover in general, buildings, grass, trees, and so on. So, yeah.
Would this be taken into consideration when? I mean, why
Yeah.
don't you know?
Not for me to say.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there, like, when we do I know the first time this came out, they did training sessions at libraries and different places, but I'm not sure if the communities are actually using this knowledge, especially when it comes to development and how we're gonna preserve,
Yeah, and I can ask Megan if she wanted to step back up to the podium there, because I know that part of our subdivision regulations do require a certain percentage of open space in every development. So depending on the acreage of the development, there are requirements to keep open space there and green space that's usable by residents, so. Or go to the microphone, sorry, they won't be able to hear you, sorry.
You know, we've talked about doing another update. We've noticed some things that need updating in the subdivision regulations, and we've talked about internally introducing a tree cover in addition to an open space requirement. But Olmsted Township has their own one, as do a lot of municipalities, so we thought maybe it would be redundant, but it could be an interesting thing to introduce, you know, this into our regulations and require if a certain amount of tree canopy is being destroyed, that they would have to then replace that to a certain percentage. I think that could be really useful and good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk more about that. We definitely have been having conversations with Public Works and others about some updates to the subdivision regulations. So that next year we'll definitely be taking that on, and that could be something that gets incorporated. I think, you know, the one thing with this mapping tool, as we all know, there are so many different federal funding, state funding opportunities out there, and so many of these applications require data. So we really see this tool being an asset to communities to be able to go to one website and find that information. And obviously you can call us and we can help you find that. But rather than going to 15 different websites to gather data, it really is all in one. And when we met with the communications team upstairs, you know, they really said they get calls a lot on wanting stats and wanting information and other things. And so we always say we're a resource for all. And so I think that's something too that we could help just even with some quick data points if needed, so.
Any other further comments, questions? So,
I'm sorry. What is the plan to get it out there, though? Are we going to be contacting the planning commissions, city planning commissions throughout the county? Are we going to contact, is there a plan, I guess, is there a plan?
We had issued a press release through the county communications office, as well as through our own social media, but I don't know about a formal outreach to, say, planning directors.
Yeah, we can definitely, I mean, I'm thinking, as you say that, is the Regional Economic Development Group that meets. Paul Hertig has those meetings that they organize, and it's mayors and economic development planning people, so that may be something that I get on an agenda for that, but I'm open to suggestions on how we make sure people know it's out there.
I'm just going to say, for District 11, I'm going to make sure that every mayor, every planning, we get inundated with so much information. I'll speak for the cities, you know, this could get lost so easily, and we put all this time into this valuable tool. I think we should be sending out direct notice to the communities, but.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. And I was going to add, if we can get it to like First Suburbs or the Mayors and City Managers Association, that'd be great, because we typically open those emails from those folks.
Yes, that is a very good point. We will definitely plan on do that. And we'd also welcome opportunity to come to council or committee if we wanted to present it and do actual demo to show what's there. We'd be happy to do that as well.
Dan, Liam, and Kevin, thanks so much for all your work on this. And then I saw the training that I'm assuming you'll tape one of those and just leave it up on the website also. One of the training sessions, just so if
Yes.
somebody.
Yep.
Very good. Once again, thanks. Thank you. Okay. All right, we'll move on to the executive director's report.
Thank you. So just wanted, I lost the remote. Thank you. So we weren't sure how long the first resolution was going to take, so we didn't include a lot of other updates. So I will just give some highlights, and as a reminder, the Solid Waste Committee's meeting, Policy Committee meeting is right after this one. So just want to cover some recent highlights. I know, as you mentioned, for Suburbs Consortium, we just recently had a meeting. They had their annual meeting, and County Planning was lucky to be awarded the inaugural Montlack Visionary Program Project Award. Ken Montlack passed away earlier this year, and so there were inaugural awards provided, and we won the one for the Visionary Project Award for our work with the Suburbs Consortium for the single-family zoning. So that was an honor to be recognized by First Suburbs and to receive that award. So also, Patrick was recently interviewed by NPR Sound of Ideas for our TOD work, and so he was interviewed for that program along with Matt Moss from the City of Cleveland and Mary Beth Feek from GCRTA, who've been our partners throughout this process. I think it continued the momentum that we saw with the Steve Litt article around TOD, and I know we've had many conversations with our partners in North Olmsted and Fairview Park and Cleveland continue just to figure out how do we make sure that we can implement this work and really make a difference in how development happens in the future. Nicole Laird on our team was recently appointed to GCRTA's Community Advisory Committee, so she is a daily user of transit and thrilled that she will be representing, be a representative on that committee that then makes recommendations to the Board of Trustees. So I want to just congratulate her on that. And then Mayor Wheelo is not with us today. She wasn't able to be here, but the City of South Euclid just this week unanimously voted to approve a residential zoning code update that our team created as part of the single-family zoning work with the First Suburbs Consortium. So they were one of two pilot cities that were awarded the work as a follow-up to the single-family zoning. So it's awesome to see just in that short time that we were able to help them rewrite that part of their code, and then to get it adopted by City Council unanimously was fantastic. So City of Euclid, we're still continuing to work with, so that may be another one that comes up for approval as well. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that you knew, hopefully this went out to as many people as we could. This went out to a long list of mayors, planning people, directors, economic development directors, and then again, social media. But our planning grants are officially open. We open them on Monday, December 4th. The deadline for questions is tomorrow. So if anybody has questions about whether or not something may be a good question or a good project, please reach out to Jim Selnhalter on our team about that. We've received a lot of great calls with a lot of great ideas for projects, and as we always say, we know we won't be able to do everyone's project, but we hope we can do as many as possible this year, or going into next year. The applications are not due till January 12th. We wanted to give people the time over the holidays and not come up with a Christmas Eve deadline or something. So hopefully that works with everybody. And then on or before March 1st, we are going to make announcements on the selection of those awards. I would say that this will come to the board likely in May, June, something around that time frame after we make that decision. We did do all 4 planning grants last year, started them at the same time, and we realized that was definitely a challenge because then everybody on the team has got public meetings the same week and current conditions the same week and a lot of effort. So we're going to look at staggering the project start dates. So we may have some come to you first and then the second batch come to you in a following meeting. I just listed here the eligible activities. These are all the different variety of things that we are willing to accept applications on this year. We did not do master plans last year, and this really goes to capacity. I mean, they're just a very long project, and so we're going to take award up to 2 master plans if those get submitted as well. We won't be doing full zoning code updates, but if they're targeted updates to certain sections of zoning, code or overlays, we'll be looking at those as well. So just to give you an idea on some of the things that we'll be looking for awards. Budget, I know that we discussed budget at a previous meeting and we were in the middle of budget hearings, so I just wanted to give you an update on where things stand. If you remember, the proposed budget was for 2024 was 2.9 million, and then 25 was just a little over 2 million. We did make a presentation to council and requested additional funding. The one piece that we wanted to make sure we covered was to cover the existing staff that we currently had. At the time the snapshot was taken to build the base budget for the biennial budget, we did not have one of the employees in place yet, and so wanted to make sure that was understood and provided to council, as well as our contracts that we have obligations for, operating costs and all of that. Those were just not in place at the time they took the snapshot, and so I'm very thankful for Councilman Simon and Yvonne Conwell's support. Budget that was approved, so we had just asked for an additional 121,000 for '24 and then 137,000 for 2025. So they were both granted, and that will be our new final approved budget. For 2024, there is the 950,000 that we have seen in our budget for the Urban Tree Canopy Program. 2025 at this time is not included in our budget, but I know that there have been conversations and that dollars will be added to Department of Sustainability so that they have other efforts that they're doing that may or may not include trees, but at least there's set aside money to continue to do programming to help communities think about sustainability in their communities. So it was a very good process, and I really do want to thank council for their support in giving us the additional funding. And then the final thing is you remember you approved a contract for Studio Chartreuse to do logo and branding for us. This has been a very, very quick turnaround. That was at the September meeting. We already have gone through all the process. So I just want to thank our internal team, Annette, Kevin, Susan, and Rachel, who have been meeting with Studio Chartreuse to go through variations of the logos that they created. We did present the final 3 logos to our team this week, and we have big blow-ups in our map room, and everyone's putting comments and questions and things they'd like to see different, but those are all up there, and we've asked for all comments back by tomorrow so that we can meet with the consultants on Monday and tweak things and make some changes. Our plan is really to roll out that new logo and branding with our annual report that'll come out in first quarter 24. So we're all really excited. I will say it's amazing. Once people see logos, they're like, oh, that looks like that logo, and that looks like that logo. And to my fellow director, Director Wong, we have the same initials as the City of Cleveland Planning Commission. So everything we do, it looks like CPC or CCPC. It's something that, we have a very long name, and so we have been looking at options of having just, county planning in some pieces with a tagline that includes the word Cuyahoga, so we don't lose who we are and where we are. But Cuyahoga County Planning Commission is a very long name, and so we're working on different options for that. But it's been a really exciting process. The team is really excited. The timing is right because the county is updating websites and emails to .gov from US. So that will be a change that we can get our new business cards and everything done at the same time. So it's been a really exciting process. So we'll look forward to that very soon. Okay.
Okay, any comments or questions for the executive director? No? Thanks, Mary.
I just want to thank you all for your support this year. Again, it's been very busy and a lot has been happening, and so I know this is a big chunk of your time to come down here, and I just want to say thank you for your time and your support.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Anything else on the agenda?
New business.
New business? Any new business?
I have new business.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Councilwoman Simon.
All right, so we have in front of us the last meeting of 3 mayors who've served on this body diligently, and some with greater longevity than others. And I so appreciate your time in coming down here for this hour or two, and want to present proclamations from council and me in particular, who has had the honor to serve with Mayor Sellers, Mayor Brennan, and Mayor Trehor. Thank you, Trehor, so much. And I have proclamations I just wanted to hand out. I'm not going to read, but we all know what this service entails. You can bring back information to your communities, and I think it's a benefit to sit here and come here because you learn about these things we just heard about today and be able to implement and maximize all of that. So I appreciate all of you and want to just hand these out. If anybody has things to say, then it would be awesome as I do that.
No, I just want to thank you also. I've been involved with the County Planning Commission for a number of years, and I appreciate Mayor Brennan and Mayor Sellers. I know I've worked very closely with you too over the numerous years, and I'm sure we'll continue to work together, as well as Mayor Traore. So I really appreciate everyone's hard work over the years and just look forward to seeing you. So thank you.
And I would just ask before you leave, if we could just get a picture with you and Councilman Simon before with the proclamations, that would be great. Thank you. No. We'll put Mayor Sellers in the middle.
I just want to say, it's been a pleasure. Obviously, that I now know all the good works the county planning does. Years that I've been here, the growth here and the ability to get out in these communities and make them better, assist them to make themselves better at the municipal level. And so I don't want to make sure that we commend.
Thank you very much.
Mayor?
Yeah, if I may, I wish Mayor Wheeler were here to hear me say this, but when I was first elected mayor in 2017, Mayor Wheeler was gracious enough to give me 4 hours of her time to talk about what it's like to be a mayor and everything that goes with it. And there were a lot of takeaways I had from that meeting, but one of them was this. There are all these boards and commissions that we have the opportunity to serve on. And it's good to serve on one for a while and develop some expertise and provide some meaningful assistance to whatever board or commission you're a part of. But then there's also a time where it makes sense to roll off and let somebody else have that opportunity, because then you are also sharing the knowledge and the experience among all your peer mayors and elected officials, so that the knowledge about what all the commissions and boards and organizations do, everybody gets a shot of having a stake in it and being a part of it and learn from it and contribute to it. I've valued the time I've had here. I look forward to seeing what our successors do in these positions. So great opportunity for them and for you to work with them. So thank you for being such a joy to work with.
Okay, thanks.
And I just want to extend my grateful gratitude for the opportunity to serve here and to be a representative for small communities. As the mayor of a village, which less than 2,000 persons, that voice is very integral in how we move our county and the work that's done. And so to be able to be a representative and to be able to take back such resources, because we do have smaller staff and those kind of things. So, learning and gleaning from this position and be able to share with the staff that was, working within the community has been very invaluable. And I wish the successor very best of luck. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. If we have nothing further to hold our attention, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. All those in second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, everyone. We're going to stay around for now the solid waste district policy meeting. Okay, sorry.
Big day today.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Solid Waste District Policy Committee meeting for December 14th. Annette, can we take the roll, please?
Mayor Traore. Present. Councilperson Simon.
Here.
Mayor Sellers.
Here.
Mayor Orcutt.
Here?
Mayor Gallo.
Here.
Director Dever.
Here?
Mayor Daley Jones. Joseph Nani.
Here.
Mayor Brennan.
Here.
Was hoping to go backwards and she would be back by now. Mayor Juan. Tim Weber.
Here.
Michelle Wilhelm. You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much.
will be right back.
Yeah, we'll make sure we note that. So first off, welcome Tim Weber. Approval of the minutes for the September 14th Policy Committee meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Brennan.
Second? Second. Any comments, questions, changes to those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next item, district updates. Beth, please.
Thank you. I'll be brief because I know this is a busy day. We have several updates. I wanted to share with you, we did have our inaugural Reduce, Reuse, Repair Fair on September the 9th, and that was from 10 until 2 at the Watershed Stewardship Center at the Metro Parks West Creek Reservation in Parma. We had a nice turnout. We had 75 attendees, and this event was to really bring to the attention of the public things you can do to basically reduce your footprint to begin with. You know, things such as, you know, don't buy new furniture, source those from, you know, existing furniture stores, you know, secondhand stores, things of that nature. This will be an annual event. We already have it on the calendar. It will be in March of 2024, so you will be getting a notice of that, and that event will be held in Independence at their field house. Wanted to also let everybody know that in October, we held a 2-day environmental law workshop. We had 17 attendees from law enforcement and then the legal folks within our community. And that was to provide participants a comprehensive overview of Ohio's environmental laws through both instructions as well as hands-on training, specifically targeting open and illegal dumps within our community. Each participant received a resource guide, and if you are interested, let me know. We still have some of those at our offices that we can distribute. And the participants used that updated guide to actually conduct an investigation on property and go through an investigation and a mock trial. And I think the participants enjoyed themselves, and we will be looking to probably do that on an every other year basis. So wanted to give you an update on Senate Bill 119, which we thought had hopefully been put to bed, but needless to say, it did come back this fall before the Senate as Senate Bill 119. It went before the House Energy and Natural Resources Committee, and over the course of several weeks in October, this was heard by Representative Chairman Kick's committee. We presented as ASWATA, which is the Organization of Solid Waste Districts of Ohio, of which the Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District is a member, and we actually participated in a subcommittee on this piece of legislation, and we crafted a fact sheet that we provided the committee explaining that we thought this was an unnecessary adjustment to statute, that we thought current statute addressed the concerns, and after hearing both pro and opponent testimony, along with public testimony, there's going to be no further action on that. The chair didn't think it was necessary to move that along. So as of where we sit right now, hopefully Senate Bill 119 will remain in committee and there will be no further action. That would have had a potential impact on fees as well as the construction, demolition, debris management of materials, which it really was designed around a specific county's needs. Onto our Harvard Road landfill project, which we have been involved with, or Harvard Refuse, landfill project. We did obtain board approval for having SCS engineers assist us with a holistic evaluation. It is not a phase one, it is a stage one, because phase ones do have kind of a shelf life. And so we will be kicking that off in January. In the interim, we worked with Slavic Village to conduct a public hearing to hear concerns of the residents in that area, where we did hear some concerns pertaining to the migration of methane, as well as fugitive dust from a concrete grinding operation on that facility. We can report that the receiver is investigating a couple of offers to do some redevelopment projects on that property, and we are remaining involved with that to see what the outcome of that may be. So I suspect at this point in the year, we won't have any action until after the first of the year. We completed our scrap tire roundup, which is a perennial activity that we do the latter part of September into October. And we had 52 communities participate. We collected over 13,700 tires this year. And this is a program the district pays for. We have a contract with Liberty Tire. We schedule collection of these tires from the service departments of each of the communities. So we did conclude that activity, and that volume is about where it has remained in prior years. And we are scheduled to do that again this coming fall. We kicked off a new program this year, however. We piloted a pumpkin composting collection pilot program, which is difficult to say quickly. And we had reached out to a couple of our communities that have been very good partners and wanted to see if they would host a 20 cubic yard open top bin for the collection of unadorned pumpkins and gourds. And we placed this the week beginning on October the 28th, so that was the couple of days before Halloween, through the following week. And so within a 7-day period, we collected 7.5 tons at 3 locations of pumpkins and gourds, and very little contamination. Our partners were City of Strongsville and City of Westlake, and then we had a location at our place in Garfield Heights, and Strongsville was so successful we had to actually empty that container twice. So we're looking to expand that this coming year. So mark your calendar. Kurtz Brothers managed that for us. So all of those pumpkins are going to be composted into food waste, and some of that material will be returned to Rust Belt Riders as a feedstock for their products. So we're looking to grow that. So do let your service directors know. We'll be bothering them to see if we can convince them to be a host this coming fall. Just wanted to let you know, we have posted our 2024 grant applications and instructions on our webpage. Those will be due at the beginning of February 1st. And we have 3 different grant programs that we offer to communities, nonprofits, and institutions. So, do encourage your staff to take a look, see what might, fit, or your schools or nonprofits in your communities. We will be more than happy to talk to anybody to kind of vet out a program and see if we can get that to fit into one of our programs. And then one of the last things I want to talk about before we go into our PowerPoint is we will be sponsoring a Trash Talk lunch in January, on January 30th. Invitations will be going out to you all, as well as your service directors and other staff members. This is to engage the communities in our solid waste plan update, which we're going to talk in more depth about here shortly. We have entered into our solid waste planning process, and garnering that input and vision from our communities is very important. And as part of the policy committee, you all will be involved, which we'll talk about shortly here when we go through the PowerPoint. And we need to also add to our ranks here on the policy committee a replacement for our large generator representative. Mr. Kerry Mathias from Cleveland Cliffs has left Cleveland Cliffs, which left a vacancy. And so we kind of scoured our large generators and found that Mr. Tim Weber from Metro Health was very interested in joining us in our efforts. So before you today, we have a resolution for your consideration to appoint Mr. Weber. And at that point, I'm going to stop my announcements and let you move into the resolution.
Outstanding. First, any questions or comments about her presentation today?
I just want to say thank you. Your work, your team is phenomenal, and I'm really proud that you're leading the solid waste district.
Thank you.
Beth, is there any updates in regards to the composting? I think there was a look at potentially something within the county itself. Is there anything happening there?
Yes and no. We are still meeting regularly with both Rust Belt Riders as well as Kurtz Brothers. And Kurtz Brothers has a Class 2. We're still strongly encouraging them as a private sector individual to move along with developing that property. And then Rust Belt Riders is investigating some things. I'm really not at leisure but they are investigating some opportunities for them to remain here in Cuyahoga County and grow, which is good. And we've also met with 2 companies since then, one of which is, he's not really an in-vessel digester composter. He's out of the Columbus area looking to expand within Cuyahoga County. His process dries material and creates nutrient-high material that could be used as an organic fertilizer. So we are talking with him and seeing how we can bring him into the county. So our efforts are not ending, they're continuing.
Outstanding.
But just not moving as quickly as we had hoped, so
Thanks.
you're welcome.
Okay, any other further comments, questions? Seeing none, thanks for your report. Okay, if we could, we'll move on to the resolutions. We could, resolution number 231214-A, the appointment of Mr. Weber to the Solid Waste Policy Committee as a representative for the industrial, commercial, and institutional generators of solid waste within the district. Can I have, I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second. Simon.
Okay, any comments? Any?
Just, do you want to say anything, if I can, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Mr. Weber, are you with sustainability at Metro?
Yeah,
What-
I'm the Director of Sustainability at Metro Health System. Essentially, my focus is to reduce energy use and waste, work on land diversion. Probably no surprise, Metro Health as a health system, a lot of very high energy intensity in a lot of our procedures, and also we have numerous waste streams. So my first position at the system waste management coordinator for the sustainability group, and then was promoted over the summer to Director of Sustainability, but I maintain my waste management position as well at this time. So no, just passionate about it. Kind of I joke I'm in my 3rd phase of adulthood, and so I'm trying, this is kind of mission and environmental work is always been a passion. So it's just another opportunity, and Cuyahoga County resident, and so, anything I can do to contribute is.
Thanks, welcome. Anything further? On the resolution, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. Welcome, Mr. Weber.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we will go over our PowerPoint for today. I mentioned earlier in our points and updates that we have entered the solid waste planning period. We began that back in May and have had several internal staff planning sessions. I just wanted to go over what does this mean for the policy committee? What can you expect activity-wise? You'll be seeing more of us throughout this year and into the next. Wanted to, let me see if okay, I just want to make sure I was on the proper slide. In order to complete the plan, the Ohio EPA puts out what's called a format, and it consists of 6 chapters and 23 appendices. The way it's constructed is that the chapters are really the executive summary of each of those chapters, with the appendices coming at the back. So the idea is that this document can be consumable on a couple of levels. If you choose just to read the executive summaries, you get the flavor of what we hope to be doing in the next planning years. And then if you really are like us and we enjoy our data and our charts and spreadsheets, you can dig into the appendices and find out. I did want to share with you, for example, the 23 appendices that are in the plan that we will actually go through. You know, they're listed here. I won't read these for you. But we will be asking you in an advisory capacity to help us not only prepare the plan, but there are some resolutions that are required by statute that you do pass. We have contracted with Cuyahoga Valley Engineering and RRS to assist us with the planning process. This is our 5th solid waste management plan update, and our first being approved by the EPA in 1994. I personally had the opportunity to participate in a couple of the early ones, and albeit this is still a very in-depth document, it's far more streamlined than they used to be. And this plan will approve, really is a working plan for the district to explain what our services and programmings will be across residential, commercial, and industrial sectors. How are we going to fund those activities? We anticipate remaining at a $2 generation fee, which is our current funding structure. And we will be going over all of that with you as we progress. You'll notice that the 3rd bullet point under the appendices, Appendix H, there are actually in that appendices or appendix are 13 analyses that we have to go through. And that's where we're going to call upon you all and the service directors to help us flush those activities out. In Appendix H, as you can see there, those are the 13 analyses we have to do. We will be focusing on, for your communities in particular, residential structures, as well as restricted and difficult to manage waste. So on the 30th, if your calendar is free, please join us, and we will be, this is a line I can't use very often, talking trash about what programs, what can I say? I just had to. You know, what of our existing programs you want to keep? Do you want to adjust any? What new ones do we want to do? That type of thing. And so, you know, as you can see, we have some other activities that we also have to do. We have to demonstrate how we meet the state goal, and the state goal for residential commercial is 25%. The EPA recently removed the necessity to calculate the industrial goal, although we are still doing that just because we love to calculate our numbers. And our 2022 ADR, which we had shared with you the last time, on the residential commercial side, we came in at 24.42%, so slightly below what the state is looking at. However, we were above what the state used to require as a goal on the industry side. We were at 62.73%, and overall a combined reduction rate of 37.86%. Overall in the state, we rank among one of the higher districts for recycling reduction and composting activities. Once all of this data has been analyzed, gathered, formatted, we do have to actually put this in a readable format, and we will be back to you in August for you to have reviewed the plan and approve us sending the draft document down to the EPA for their review. we could go to the next slide if I can get that to work. I'll stop pushing. You have your print, yeah, that's true.
Stakeholder engagements
Yes, so,
next.
Well, if you look at the next slide, which is a variety of circles. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. There we go. This just is a demonstration of how we try to engage everybody in the analysis, because we are here to serve residential, commercial, and industrial sectors. As I mentioned, we'll be having a stakeholder meeting January 30th. It will be at the Independence Civic Center, so do look in your emails for invitation. And we will also be sending out, after the first of the year, just because we know schedules are kind of busy between now and the end of the year, a survey for you to give us some indication so we can prepare for that activity on the 30th. There we go. This is the process that we'll be working through. It's a pretty typical SWOT analysis where we'll gather the data. We will analyze what that says, take into consideration the programming that you like, how you want it adjusted. In doing so, we will run budgets on that to anticipate if our funding mechanism is adequate. And at least at this point, we are not anticipating any fee structure changes. So if we do, you will be the first to know, but at this point, we are not. And then this is probably of your entire packet. One of the things I would ask you to hold on to, please. This is the entire solid waste plant update schedule in a nutshell. You can see at the top, we began the process in 2023 per statute. We're already doing data gathering and crunching numbers. We will have stakeholder meetings from now until probably late spring, at which point we will begin to actually craft then that document that will be available for review. As you can see, I've got in bold and in italics there, the activities that you as a policy committee, we statutorily need you to complete. So once we have this draft document done, we will give it to you. Hopefully, we find it riveting information. You've had an opportunity to review it. And then you need to actually pass a resolution that authorizes us to send this draft document to the EPA for review, after which they have 45 days to review that document and then send back to us what are called non-binding advisory comments. So they go through the plan, they double check our numbers. If there are things they want us to tweak or adjust, they send that back.